Hi everybody, Russ and My Hammers 11. Hope you're safe and well. If you're new channel, please consider subscribing, hit the bell icon, you know all that stuff. We've just beaten Crystal Palace 3-2, so we're fourth in the league. So I don't really care about subscribers or anything. As must thank our channel sponsors, Untuck It. Check them out in the description below. That's fun. Today's guest, another happy hammer, of course, being the My Hammers 11 channel. This time, he's a busy man. So last time he fell asleep at his desk. So this one.
Hello, that's me, desk sleeper.
Yeah, it's a desk sleeper. Let's change your name. It's Charlie. It's Charlie Roxburgh. How are you doing, Charlie? How's things, man?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. Been very, very busy recently, but I do apologise for taking so long to be here. But I am happy to be here, so thank you for having me.
Don't be silly. It's quite funny. It adds to the whole story, doesn't it?
We've had a nightmare getting me on here.
Good things come to those that wait, isn't it, Charlie? That's the thing, isn't it? It's all good fun and games. Everyone's really busy at the moment, particularly you. I mean, things are going really well for you at the moment, isn't it? You're very busy at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, working for other people and trying to work on my own content as well. It's definitely been something which it's just been a long time coming. Like, I'm just trying to put as much energy into myself at the moment, which is a bit narcissistic, but I guess it's what you want the most from life, So
yeah, but it comes to a point where I think you have to, isn't it? It's like, as you said, you do loads of other stuff for other people and stuff, and so as you said, I know I saw that, obviously coming to the beginning of this year, you put that big. This is my plans for this year on your YouTube, and he's like, yeah, well, I think too fucking right. You need to put some plans, because it's, it's one of those things where I'm so new to this game, I don't really know, but you do notice the people who put the effort in, it does pay off. It might not do it straight away, but it does pay off. And it's like, from my humble beginning, so to speak, I'm looking at other people like new guys. We've got a young lad called Jake Cox, who he's only 13, bless him, and he does like live show with talk football, and you think he's got he's got that work ethic, and that's what it is with YouTube, I think, isn't it, really, to be honest?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm a big advocate for saying that you carve your own luck, really. That, I mean, even to get me on here before I even well, that's my flatmates, but before I even jumped in here with you, you'd sent me a multitude of messages where I didn't even see, and then I saw, and I was just like, "Oh God, what the hell has happened here?" And then after that, I was just busy, so I couldn't reply. And then, nightmare. But even that, I can see, like, from looking at the channel, like, you're doing well, and all the success to you, like, going forward. Like you said before the call, like, you've got ex-pros on and other people, like, you're looking to branch out to different people. So, like, all the credit to everyone that really
it's good. And I think it sort of struck a chord with people, because it's about West Ham, and it's, there's so much. I mean, as you said before, we talk about, West Ham Fan TV and stuff like that, and they do great stuff in terms of, what's happening now. Mm-hmm. My niche, so to speak, is the past a little bit, because
West Ham fans love the past, like, don't they?
Yeah, we love the past. Oh, Charlie, you've got to cling on to something until this year. We win the league. We do the league and cup double. Do
you think we're going to do well in the cup?
Do you know what? I was talking to some guys the other day, and I think it's all going to be interesting. Clearly, that's what we should be going for, in my opinion.
A domestic cup.
Yeah, because the FA Cup, you've only got, another 3 or 4 games, and you've won a trophy. Otherwise, you've got to play another 20 now.
Yeah. To
get to 4th or 7th or whatever. And I don't think we realistically do that. So
we don't think we can get top 7.
Well, I'd like to do both. I'm great. I mean, to be honest, Charlie, this is
greedy. It's greedy.
This is new territory to everyone at the moment, isn't it? Yeah. We're not used to it. We're not used to turning on looking forward to watching us play Crystal Palace away.
I don't want to jinx anything at all, so I'm not going to. But I was speaking in the group chat with the boys earlier. Yeah. Now, on the great Dimitri Payet season, off the back of that, going into the London Stadium with Bilic, and we got Europa. That season felt magical, because obviously everything that was just about the buzz of the last season. I think as a team, we have a stronger team now than we did then. Yeah,
I agree.
We don't have that talisman player, but we still have. I'd say one talisman player is different to having 5, 6 important players. Yeah. Also in the group chat, we said, I don't know who our most important player is. We've got Fabianski at the back. I think he's been extremely underrated, very rated, but extremely pivotal, but also very rated. Then we have Dawson, what's happened there. I don't know how that's happened, but
exactly, yeah.
Great. Ogbonna, Rice, Souček, one of my must be the signing of the season or be up there. And then Antonio, hit and miss, but in comparison, like Antonio, I think is the best worst footballer in the Premier League. Like he has ability sometimes, but such a lack of ability.
Yeah.
But so important for like how his brain works. He pulls other players in, he makes other people play better. And even though he misses a sitter like today, and then he hits the post twice, and he's not always like the top goal scorer, his strength, his efficiency, his hold-up play sometimes, how he harrows and keeps running, that's all you can ever ask for when you're like a lone striker up top.
Yeah.
But the point I was trying to make is I think that if we do manage to get to top 7, we are more set to go to Europa and not be knocked out by a team like Astra Gugu, where we can actually have a team where we get maybe 3 good signings. I would believe maybe 100% a left back, a centre mid for like rotation, and a striker. And we're doing all right. We won't win Europa, but we'll do all right. Like, we might actually be able to go to like a nice country and have a little bit of sun.
Well, that was the thing. That was the thing. Someone was saying, "Who would you want?" And obviously, I love the way we're sort of like considering like we're always sort of get to 40 points. Now we're thinking, who the fuck we're going to play in the Europa League? Like, it's like who should have played? It's like, I think Gio on Hammer's chat was saying, I want to go to somewhere where you have to get like 2 coaches, a horse and cart to get there. Not like a nice little EasyJet flight to Barcelona or Espanyol. But yeah, he was like, fair enough. But I agree about the whole Payet season to this season. This season doesn't. This team to me never wants to give up. When they're 3-1 down, 2-1, they conceded. West Ham of old would have conceded like tonight. Classic example. 2-3 minutes, Zaha scores. We go, 6 minutes later, we score. It's like
I believe we were going to come back as well. I wasn't bothered when Zaha scored. No. I was more fuming for Moyes because of the whole Zaha Moyes debacle. Fuck no, anyone but Zaha for Moyes, just for Moyes, man.
I feel so bad for him.
I'm a huge Moyes fan. I'm a huge Moyes fan. I was really sad when he went the first time, but when he came back, I thought, I hope you do well because this could be really embarrassing for you. But I think all the respect to him, he's not a rated manager as a whole. He was for his Everton period of time, that era. You couldn't say a bad word. Very, very great team. Then you had Manchester United. He was set up to fail. With that, he needed probably another 4 years or something.
Definitely.
Then everything else that happened since then was a bit of a downward trajectory for him. But I'm really hoping that this is the up for him. I think Pellegrini was a high pedigree level of manager, but mainly by name, you know? I don't really think by what he actually brought. I think we had a good impact at the start when he came, but became really predictable. I think we play way better football right now with Moyes than we ever did with Pellegrini. That's just my own honest opinion. And I think I really like Moyes as a character. I'd love to actually have a sit down and have an interview with Moyes at some period of time, because I think getting to know Moyes on a more personal level as opposed to PR press would be a really interesting experience, because I think he's well versed in the industry that he works in, but also just seems like a genuinely sound and humble bloke, you know?
Yeah, no, definitely. And particularly during lockdown and stuff, the first one he was doing all the, no press around him, doing all the, food runs and stuff like that. He does seem like a hard working bloke, and he's basically got that work ethic throughout the whole team, it seems now. And the backroom staff as well.
How many times have you watched from preseason? We've always been crap during preseason, haven't we? For as long as they've been televised, we've always been crap. But as far as preseason, I look, bloody hell, I've got these people from New Zealand running rings around Premier League players. What's happened here? I sat there this isn't right, but it's okay because it's preseason. They're just taking it easy. It's fine. Yeah. But even from preseason, any period of time, from the Moyes era, now we look fit. Declan Rice looks he's 22 years old, man.
Unit.
He's 2 years younger than me.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
He can walk faster than me. That guy's a bloody machine. But everyone else, up, down, fast, fit, mentally look like they're locked on. Like you said, like we could go 1 goal down, and I still believe that we'll probably pull it back, even if it is City, even if it is Liverpool. It's more when it goes down to the 2 goals in 15 minutes. You're like, oh, we've just created an absolute nightmare.
Well, even the Tottenham game last season, isn't it? Even when we were down 3-0, you know, after 15 minutes and still came back. You know, there's a real resilience with that team, and it's nice to see. And it's like, you know, obviously we do a lot of, obviously, go on all the other YouTube channels and all the West Ham, and there's just a real buzz around West Ham at the moment. You know, everyone seems really, and it's like, could you imagine, like, if you know, if we flipped the coin and we were like, I don't know, battling relegation at the moment in the middle of a winter lockdown? It's like, oh God.
Don't think West Ham fans need any more depression in their lives than that.
No.
I think this is good karma for West Ham where we are right now in life in general. I think we've needed this as a club. Right. With West Ham in general, like for as long as I do remember, with the whole yo-yoing between Prem and the Championship, it's definitely not been an easy ride. But I attribute like how I feel about West Ham as a club entirely to David Moyes right now.
Yeah,
like I think Declan Rice being one of my favorite players. Because I think he just seems like a very charismatic. It's the person off the pitch as well, you know.
Definitely.
Whereas the most in love I ever was with West Ham, bar when I was like a child and football was everything. I used to run around in a little vest which I wrote to Canio on it. But Payet era was when I felt most enthused by football. I just loved when he received the ball every time. Every time I got a free kick, I'd be like on the edge of my seat. Kind of that's like, for me, that's football, you know. Like that's the feeling. And when Payet left, and then the board just seemed to PR issue after PR issue, and it just squad seemed to capitulate. Pellegrini going down the shitter. Everything seemed like seemed like the end of the bloody world. I literally sat there and I was like, I don't care about West Ham right now. I don't care. Like, there's no point. But since Moyes returned, very, very quickly from Moyes returning, I was like, okay, it's piqued my interest again. And maybe that makes me a little bit of a fake fan, so to speak, but you don't like seeing your team lose, but it's the fashion in which you do it, you know? And for me, everything about the club felt sour. It was like the fans aren't enjoying the football. The players don't seem to be enjoying the football. And everyone hates the bloody board. So, and the board don't seem to be helping anything either. So it's like, well, what are you doing? Like, why are you saying these stupid things? And then everything seems like a conspiracy on Twitter. Nightmare. So I try and stay away from it. So like I've stayed away from West Ham content for a while, like quite a while, because I don't want to say the wrong thing and I don't want to get too angry and frustrated. I don't want to become too invested because, like we said, I'm trying to focus on more stuff myself. And I love West Ham. So if I start getting too into it, I'll be like, I don't have to make a music video or anything. I don't have to film anything. I just want to watch Declan Rice clamp someone in the middle of the park, you know.
And I think everyone felt the same. There was a split in the fan base and stuff, and it's incredible how half a season has changed people's perceptions. There's more unity in terms of the team. There's more unity in terms of the fan base. It's nice to see. It is nice to see. It's nice when you know that there's 11 players on the pitch who are all going to put their arse in there, and they've got heart in. Put their arse in if they want to.
Depends what kind of team we are.
What they do afterwards is up to them. But in terms of put their heart in a game, and that hasn't happened for a long time. I think that obviously that Payet season was a phenomenal season. I was going to say, part of me thinks, if Payet wasn't there as a spearhead, would we have had such a good season? Probably not.
Not a chance. He made Noble look like Pirlo.
That was his best game.
Noble's best season ever. And he was incredible. But I think that's what Bilic was saying in an interview. The magic of Payet necessarily isn't just because of how good he is on the ball. You've got loads of technical players like Zaha himself. He's a great player on the ball, but he's not Payet because Payet makes people play better. Everyone was comfortable. Everyone gave the ball, and because we then became a little bit, I wouldn't say predictable, but you knew that you're coming up against Payet, and Payet is the main player. You're pulling 2 people to go and mark Payet, which leaves one person unmarked. And these are also professional footballers. Like, they're not stupid. Like, that if Payet has 2 or 3, do you remember the Middlesbrough goal and he did it by himself? Now imagine if he had 3 people, then that means we've actually got 3 people in the middle of the park or out wide, which aren't just standard football.
Just standing there.
Yeah, but just just having a magical player like that, I'd love to see that again. I'd love to feel that way when one player gets. I'm hoping it to be Benrahma,
yeah.
but I'm yet to see it. Although I think he's a great player. Like, I don't think yet Dimi level, but
not yet. I don't think so.
Player,
But what I think about Benny is he seems like every game there's a stark improvement. He's like, when we first, I remember that Leeds game where he was shooting everywhere. Literally, it was like, he had like a free, just anytime he had a ball within their half, he was shooting. Like today, particularly, there's a few times where he could have gone for the shot and actually laid in someone. It might have been Antonio, he overhit the pass. It might have been, I think it was Soufal, and he couldn't get away. Couldn't get out of his feet. So I think he needs a goal. He just needs a goal. That's what he needs.
He 100% needs a goal. But I think Benny is like the kind of player where you look at him and you think you've got something really about you. You don't look at Antonio and think you've got something about you. You just think, bloody hell, you've just steam trained that bastard and you're in on goal, kind of thing. And you love him. But I love Antonio. So he's probably one of my favorite players, if not my favorite, for, like I said, character for me as well is a big thing. He's got such a great personality. But with Benny, I think when you saw like all everyone watches like the show reels, like the skill highlights, whatever. But even when you watched Brent play, Benny was given the license to do that there because he was like a level above, if you get what I mean. Whereas I think Moyes doesn't want that. He wants him to play the way he wants him to play for the team. And I think we're probably just going to be going through an adjustment period for a player like Benny so that he can play the way that Moyes wants. And then when the moments are right, he can also do, because he still does his skills and stuff. He still does it, but it's just overcomplicating it and ironing that out to the way that Moyes wants him to play, which I think is going to be like a test of a player's ego. But also a test of how adaptable they are, which at the top level you have to be.
You've got to be, you got to. And I mean, I use this verb, to Moyesify a player, and he's done that several times. Varnautovic and Cresswell and Masuaku and Antonio and Fornals, and I think Benny's the next one to be Moyesified, as you said. There's no denying his technical ability. When he gets the ball, things that are going to happen. He's exciting, and for West Ham fans, we like to have a player who can do that. We've always had this mesmeric player, and I think, as you said, just roughing those edges a little bit of that diamond, and I think he's going to be a good one. Well, it looks like we're paying him anyway. He's got to do it, man. But if we went back to that little boy with his vest on with Di Canio, why West Ham? Why are you a West Ham fan, Charlie?
Why am I a West Ham fan? All right, I'm a West Ham fan because of I would probably say he's like my he's not my adopted dad because he didn't adopt me. He's family friend, but he was like my father figure growing up, Andy Ellis. So Andy, I used to go to the games with him as a kid. So I think my earliest memory of a West Ham game was Rushden and Diamonds. But before that, obviously my dad was out the picture when I was conceived. Not when I was conceived, but after I was conceived, then my dad was out of the picture. That would be very confusing. But my dad was then out of the picture when I was born. And my dad's a Spurs fan, thank God. So Andy literally just whacked me in a Dagenham Motors West Ham shirt. And I've got a picture of me somewhere. I can find it if you'll DM it to you at some point. But is just a picture of me as a little baby in a Dagenham Motors thing. And then ever since then, he's just been like, no, because he's got two daughters and they're both West Ham fans as well. Sure. But I think obviously the only like boy child that was in there was just like, yeah, you're a West Ham fan now, lad. Get in there. And then I used to go to the games with him at Upton Park, and we used to sit right next to the tunnel, like literally right next to the tunnel. So I have memories of like Allardyce screaming at people. And I remember, because when you're that close, you can actually hear. So I remember him saying, he was chatting shit about Guy Demel once. And he was like, fucking, it's so angry. I was just like,
that's how he goes.
Why you talk about your players, mate? But yeah, I've got great memories of that. But yeah, great times. Well, that's why.
And nowadays, you can just switch the crowd noise off and hear them all shout anyway, which is great.
I like to listen to it without the crowd sound because I like hearing it. I'm not really a big UFC or MME. Definitely not
MME,
that.
it's a new one,
MMA
yeah.
fan, MMA fan. But on the occasional fight that I would watch with my mates, or even like a highlight, I find it so interesting because then you can hear the corner like clearly, like at all times, and I find that interesting because I was very big on like sports psychology stuff. I found that just very interesting in general, and being able to hear how people talk to each other. Like Antonio put it wide, and someone, don't know who it was, said like don't give up. So it's like that kind of, obviously I play Sunday League all the time, so like I'm used to it, and everyone, depends what level you're at, and it doesn't even matter, like you talk to each other on the pitch. But even at the highest level, like that kind of like positive reinforcement is really interesting to see. Don't know why I just went into a crazy speech about that, but
we do that.
I find
it's a kind of these take us to funny places, these episodes. But I mean, you're right. I mean, for me, it's when you're there and you listen, as you said, it's something special about listening to players and how the managers react and stuff like that. And that's one thing about Moyes and the backroom staff, is they're all loud. They're all loud, and literally you can just hear them the whole game. You know, sometimes when I pop my head out, like when I was at the stadium, pop my head out and I listen to them. And like, I remember we played Villa this season, and when it all kicked off on the sideline between like one of our staff and John Terry, and literally you could hear from because my box is right at the top of the stadium, and I could hear, just because it was right by the tunnel, you could hear John Terry and this bloke just having it out, literally having it. It was so funny, honestly. And all the journos are there just like typing away, literally word for word, verbatim. What was being said. So funny. But I love hearing all the noise and hearing the players and seeing, you know, like Oggy and someone like Craig Dawson, who's just come in and just, he's only been like half a dozen games, and he's shouting everyone around and stuff. And it's like,
he's a commanding enforcer. Like, I say, I played for Thames Ironworks, the Sunday League team, but we had a player he's in his 40s now, but called Wayne. He's friends with Nicky Hawkins and all that lot. But he just came in, and I used to call him Dad. Like, it was very funny. But he's just an enforcer. But you know, when people just come in and they're like experienced, they've got a commanding aura about them. They just, no nonsense, just bam, done. That's what I used to do. And I was just saying to my mates earlier, as I said, Dawson just reminds me of Wayne, or Wayne reminds me of Dawson. They're just the same kind of player. Just no nonsense, straight head through the ball, done, dusted, keep it safe, keep it cushy.
What you need. It's what you need, though. I think you have to have that sort of, that, you know, as much as it's great to have a ball playing centre half and stuff like that, you need someone like a GP or someone like Craig Dawson, who's just going to put Wayne, who's just going to put their head through the ball, and doesn't matter where the ball is the head's going through it. You know what I mean? And we love that. We love that sort of like, you know, that Bonds type, you know, like blood on his, like Terry Butcher, like blood on his, you know, the bangage and stuff like that. No, it's great. No,
I think that's one thing about Declan Rice that I really enjoyed, is that he's a captain now, but when he first came in, and you could see, obviously he'd be nervous, he's human, but there was like a commanding nature, like the way he'd look around, be pointing to people to move around, to do those kind of things, telling like fullbacks, wingers where he wants. And obviously now he does it a lot more in an experienced manner, but he did it so much at the beginning as well, where I was just like, if he doesn't get snapped up, I'll be surprised. But if he stays, he could be a very pivotal member of this club, which now that he's captain,
well, Frank going in it as well. So that's one club I think he's not going to go to for a little while, is Chelsea. So
now Frank's gone, do you reckon we should just get Mason Mount? Because then they could just be buddies together.
That's it then, isn't it? That's it.
We've already one of the boys, Billy, said in our group chat, said, how funny is it that West Ham, after all these years, are the reason why Frank Lampard got fired from Chelsea? It's like the ultimate divine intervention. Like, Karma's really come around.
It's brilliant. I absolutely love it. And I think, I mean, I remember seeing Deck when he was playing on the 23s, because we used to do the games at the stadium, a few games like at the stadium, for like, you know, £1 or whatever to get in. And he was like obviously playing centre back, and he was head and shoulders above everyone for that leadership quality, because you don't get that. It's really, really, really. I remember talking to like Trevor Sinclair, like not meant to name drop, but me and Trevor Sinclair were talking, and he said that is such an because he has he coaches loads of boys in sort of the like late teens, and that sort of leadership quality is so rare amongst that age group. They're all individuals. They all want to be flash. They want to be, you know, the main man. Where Deck had this sort of like, and I remember when he started. I remember when Pellegrini put him into the centre of defence and centre midfield as a CDM. We were like, what's going on? What?
I love that. I love that. If someone puts Declan Rice at centre back, I'm pissed off. Yeah. Eric Dyer is a centre back who was playing CDM. No, behave. No. He is a CDM. He is fast. He is strong. He's got a good forward thinking, and he also knows when to go forwards and also when to go wide. A centre back, has these qualities that they can do. I.e., like Maguire, John Stones, if they want to run out from back, if they want, fine. The technique that Declan Rice has is wasted at centre back, because at centre back, I'd rather have someone like Dawson who will just win the tackle. You know, give the ball out wide, give the ball to Declan, because then they can do something going forwards. Why would you want to put Declan Rice at centre back, man? Like, he'll be a great centre back. Don't get me wrong, but why would you want to do that?
But you can, and that's what I said before. Like when there's obviously the Chelsea talk. It's like, I'm being funny. You can go and buy a decent centre back for 20 million. No worries. There's 10 a penny. You can go to Italy and get Koulibaly for 25 million or 28 million or whatever. You know, you can get these really, but you couldn't get a position that Deck's playing now. And he's not even a CDM now. He is a CM now, because he's bringing that more into his game. He's got this knuckleball sort of free kick he's trying to do as well. You know, he's trying, and I think we've just scraped the surface with him. I honestly think there's so much more in that as a player. But
I think so. Like, not to jinx anything at all, but you know how you have club legends and stuff, and you have people like Noble will go down as a club legend for being so loyal and whatever. But I don't think Noble would have ever really have been snapped up by the big dogs at any period of time, like to such a high demand. He could have gone to a big club on a one good season or whatever. But I don't ever think it. He had like Scotty Parker. If he stayed, like, that's the kind of level where I'd be like, okay, he's got something about him, you know. But obviously he left. Jermaine Defoe. These are bigger names, but then they all went off. If Declan Rice does stay when he could go, it could be like that kind of more level, you know, like it very, very early. But I'm saying, like, the way that Bobby Moore is that it's someone who's such a pivotal part of our history, that obviously representing England, winning, and also doing it at club level, great memories, obviously way before my time, but lots of history there. If Declan Rice can't do it, if Declan Rice can do it for club and country, there's no reason why he couldn't be that, because I think it's more competitive now as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. He's a very switched on boy. Is old Deck, and you know, he knows that even with Mark. I mean, Mark plays a 6. We give him down as a 7 because he's Mark Noble. You know, and he knows the effect that West Ham he could have on West Ham. He'd be a massive fish in a small pond. But it could be a big pond, you know, if we're in the Champions League next season. But
that's what I think. Like, so say for example, you've got like the whole like the bromance kind of thing between Mason Mount and Declan Rice. Declan Rice is friends with people like Ethan, you know. So so who I work with, my friend, but they message each other. But Declan's a very likable person, so when you have to kind of connect, and then he goes off to international duty and he's making friends with all these people. If you're liked, then people will want to play with you, you know. Also, if you're playing really well as a club level, there's no reason that if you don't have a board that backs the manager, like, then, and they invest, people will be like, oh, who's that knob? I don't want to go play with him, you know. But they're like, oh, Becker's, like, how is it over at West Ham? He's like, honestly, mate, it's really class, having a great time. He said, my agent's just come with me, like, with this deal, whatever. I'm thinking about it, whatever. Obviously, however football works, there's way more to it. But it would make West Ham a more ideal club to move to.
That's a great idea. That's a great shout, Charlie. We don't really think about that. You know, we're always like concerned about keeping Declan Rice for us, but actually him as a marketing tool for other, you know, young English, because he'll be at England and he'll be there for a long time, hopefully, talking to Jude Bellingham, I'm just throwing names out, Sancho, people like that. And that's how a lot of that's done. That is true. I was talking to a guy yesterday who's he's released a Declan Rice single. He's a rapper called
I think I saw Declan's put that on his Instagram.
Yeah, so he had D-Part on the channel. I think it'll be going out. It'll go up before your interview. And and he's like Deck, like he did like little Instagram live, he's got about 7,000 followers, something like that. And Deck came on and was like, "Oh my god, I loved it," and and he was like, "Oh my god," like he didn't have to do that. And I was like, that's your that's you, you're done there, isn't it? He said, yeah, I didn't think I was going to do it. It was all a giggle, and this is mental, and that's what I like about Deck. I just think he's so relatable. He's one of those guys, like, after the game today, he'll be interviewed on the pitch. And if it's a good game, he'll be buzzing, same as us. If it's a crap game, he'll be down in the dumps like we are. He's just honest, and I think it's something about that in football. Football's, to me, as you talk about, you talked about characters and stuff like that. I think the game's lost so many characters, particularly. I mean, you look at the sort of the West Hams of old, for example, the John Moncurs, Di Canios, people like that. You don't get them in the game anymore. And Declan is just a very honest guy, and he's a personality, and we need to cherish that, and hopefully in the claret and blue for many, many years.
Mate,
done.
Right. when things are like on the tipping scales.
Yeah.
We had that at the Pyatt season, going into the London Stadium, and we fucked it, and that was boring. So if this is out going in favour and that's going wrong, we went boom like that. Pyatt left as a result of no good signings came through. Lost momentum there. I feel like we're here now. It could
I
go
agree.
either way. Right now, it's a great time for the club, but it can easily go all shit. It can also go great, And I think if you think about it, we finish. This is hypothetical. We finish anywhere, but I don't think we're finishing top 4. There's no chance. No. But unless we just win everything, but it's just we are the big bastard hammers. But if we finish 5th to 8th, great season. Great season. Pull in 2 new players or something. If we manage to go anywhere between 5th or 6th, we've got Europa, so we need to prepare for that. Momentum is also on our side. We make good signings, then that makes us, for the next season, if we still have Declan Rice, to talk about those bigger signings. Do you get what I mean? We're not going to win it next season if we get it there. It's just not going to happen. We don't have the squad depth. We don't have we don't have the players. We don't have like stars. Like those are the Arsenals. Those are the Chelseas. Those are the Dortmunds. Those are like the Europa League winners going into Champions Leagues. That's how we were like Premier League to Championship yo-yo. Those are the Championship Champions League to Europa League. Different level. We're not there, and I don't know if we're ever going to make it in our lifetime, or my lifetime, or your lifetime. I don't know, but you do never know. And we're at the tipping scales that if things go our way and we can keep Declan Rice, we add to that. We will get other players like Souček. What a signing! Didn't think that was going to happen, but very important. He could play at a high level.
Easily.
But those are the players. We need just to continue to build on that, because the squad we've got right now is a Europa League finishing, as in we can finish in top 8. If we hit 8th, we don't get it, but that's that kind of the top level, right now.
It is, and I totally agree. And that's why I think we are at this sort of tipping point. I think at the moment this season, it's we don't know. It's still a typical West Ham. We're 4th in the league, whatever. Someone put on Twitter, 5 points to go. 5 points. Let's just get those 5 points first, because we've it'll be West Ham will end up fucking it up like that. But I know exactly what you mean. There does seem to be some momentum building. I've likened it to when a player signs for I don't know, 200 grand a week contract for Newcastle or not Newcastle, Man United or Man City or something like that. They go, I joined because of the project, and this is a project. West Ham feels like a project. It feels like Moyes. And I think with Pellegrini, it's almost like we bought a beautiful, beautiful apartment, beautiful, but the foundations of the building was shit. So it was always going to crumble.
100%.
But here, it looks like Moyes is building these floor by floor.
Moyes is a country home.
Yes.
Pellegrini is where I am right now. There's mold in the master bedroom. We've got a leak in the kitchen. My washing machine in my bathroom, the cupboard doesn't close past it. It's a new build, lovely view, but it's not built right. Foundations aren't there. I want a country home with better internet than what a country home can offer me. But yeah.
That's about to say, because you've probably got quite good internet where you are at the moment.
The internet's class here, but
that's part of the reason why you're there, I know.
yeah, it's all right.
It's all right. Isn't it the best internet in the country? I think it's one of the fastest. I think it's one of the fastest speeds in the country where you are at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a gig upload, so I can upload the podcast in about like 6 minutes or something.
Yeah.
It's like an hour and a half.
So yeah.
It's nice. I went home for Christmas and I tried to upload something onto Unlisted. It was like a 5-minute video. It took me 45 minutes. I was like, oh, I can't live like this. I need to go home. I need to go back to my flat. I can't live like this. It's a first world problem for sure, but it's such a luxury that you're so happy to have.
Yeah, no, I know it's got. Yeah, I believe it's got the best internet in the country, best download speed, I believe. Anyway, let's talk about your Hammers 11. So we talk about loads of good players, and we're going to talk about them all again in a minute.
Okay.
So everyone we've had on the channel, bar 3 people: Harry Redknapp, Ian Bishop, and Nigel Reo-Coker. Randomly have given their Hammers 11. So the idea is everyone we get on the channel, you give your 11. It can be whatever criteria you want it based on, but the only rule is you have to be alive to have seen them play. So obviously if you were doing your dream 11, you'd have Bobby Moore and stuff, but you never saw them, so why should we put them in? That's the idea.
Yes, sir.
So and you can play whatever formation you like as well. I'm not fussed with formation or whatever to fit everyone in. Sometimes you have to be a little bit, to be a little bit, I've had Tevez at left back once to get him in the team and various others. So yeah, he really
we've just been ripped a new one.
Yeah, he really needed Tevez in his team. Right, so we'll start off between the sticks. Sticks, the number one. Who's the number one for the Charlie 11?
So I wanted to go Fabianski because he just makes me so happy, but I feel like I have one player from our current 11 in my ultimate team, so I don't want to do that. I don't want to. Sure. There was only one person, so I've gone for Shaka Hislop. Now, Hislop for me was like, what? just makes me laugh, man. Like
smile. He makes me smile.
He just makes me smile. He's from Trinidad and Tobago, right? Shaka Hislop, yeah. And I don't know. I just have, when you like. You have like periods of time when you grow up and you're like, you love certain positions. So you like, I love strikers. So you love strikers. I had a period of my life where I loved goalkeepers.
Yeah.
So I love Barthez. I love Jerzy Dudek. But
Jerzy Dudek, great shout.
What a lad. But obviously like David Seaman as well. But there's Stephen Bywater was one which he was at the downfall of my keepers. I think I was having enough of keepers at that point. Him and David James, they used to piss me off. But Shaka Hislop, I remember I had the green kit with the elbow pads.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you just wear the kit and you feel like one with the player. I can't even give you a specific memory of what Hislop ever did apart from one sad memory. But but Hislop is in my 11. Just big up Shaka.
I love him. We've had him on the channel. He's a top bloke, honestly. He's so sweet and so lovely. And I always had this affection with him. And when we interviewed him, I said, do you know, because I used to live in Loughton, he used to live in Loughton. And I said, do you know what, Shaka? And I know that every Friday you'd go to Safeways and you do your Friday big shop with your wife. And he went, how did you remember that? I said, because I was literally on the tills, and I remember every Friday I'd always change my shifts to about 5 o'clock or whatever. So after school, and he would come every Friday, and you'd see him because he was so tall. His head would be over the sort of the aisles in Loughton. Yeah, it was funny.
That's so cute.
So cool.
That's cute, man.
He was in there. So 9 times out of 10, he'd come to my till. There's him and Samasi Abu.
Samasi Abu.
Do you remember Samasi Abu?
No, I actually don't. I'll be honest.
Crazy eyes. That might have been a little bit before your time. Because it was probably more. Samasi Abu. Check him out. Brilliant. He was so funny. He was around to the John Artson era. So about 97, I want to say. Crazy guy.
1 year old. Yeah.
He was 1 year old at the time. So I wouldn't explain. But yeah, but Shaka Hislop was I mean I love Shaka. He was such a cool. He was just a cool dude. He was so lovely when we interviewed him. He was absolutely, I think he was in like June or July, and he lives in East Coast. and it was absolutely boiling. And his AC would, because obviously everyone in America has fucking AC rather than us. Well, you probably have AC where you are, to be honest.
Mate, I actually don't. I don't.
How did you not have AC in that building? I don't know.
Summer's a nightmare in a glass building. It's awful.
Oh God, that is proper first world problem, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it is. It is in first world, but I have to stand in the shower for like an hour because it literally is unlivable. You just sit there, you feel like you're just.
I suppose you get it from every angle, so to speak.
This building's not as bad. When I was living with Ethan in North Greenwich, the whole building was completely glass, and then my bedroom was on rising sun side, and then also sunset side was on the living room. So the sun was on our apartment for the whole day, whereas this one, sun rises on the opposite side of here. Yes, opposite side and sets here, so it's cooler. So here's okay. Like summer here wasn't awful. It was a bit hot, but it wasn't awful.
Oh well.
Sorry, don't know why I had to go into that. As you were saying, you need to buy AC.
Anyway, Shaka, stop. Yeah, we'll put Shaka in. Right. Let's go into defense. Who's your first defender? I'll just say who's your first defender.
All right, I've stuck to essentially at positions. I've gone for like either a 4-2-3-1 or 4-5-1. I was gonna go 4-4-2, but I decided I don't want to put two strikers.
You're right back.
So right back, I've gone for Glenn Johnson. So for me, I thought fullbacks in my lifetime have always been so lacking in like ability, in my opinion. Not to offend anyone if there has been a fullback on the podcast, but
we've had a few. But I don't think they've been around. One's been around probably your time fullback, but anyway, you might say him for the left backs as well. Carry on.
Yeah. So I think he was probably, like, in my opinion, in my like head from my memory, our best like right back that we had. Just technical, fast, intelligent, strange haircuts occasionally. He's partial to the odd trim, but very, very class player all round. That obviously played up beyond us, but shame that I remember when he left, it was a shame because I thought he was actually like a very good player for us, But I'd say I'd be more than confident to say Glenn Johnson for that, because
I think he was part of that period, wasn't he, where we had this sort of quite an enviable for other clubs procession of young players, and he came on and it was like, oh my God, how long's he got? Because he was that good. He just stood out like a sore thumb. Nowadays, it seems to be, there seems to be a lot more sort of, I wouldn't say outstanding youth players coming through, but ones that are doing adequately in the first team. So like Ben Johnson's doing well at the moment, and at the beginning of the season we had like Ashby and Alessi and a few others who were sort of getting into the first team during the Carabao Cup. But Glenn Johnson was, I think he only played like less than like 20 games for us, I think, or something ridiculous like that. But he made such an impact, and you said that the fullback, particularly right back, until recently, I'd say, has always been a troublesome position in recent years. I think that's a nice way to say it.
Sorry to talk about recent times. I know we're doing like 11. How good is he, Soufal?
Amazing, isn't he?
Oh my gosh. I wish he had like a yard of extra pace, because then he'd be perfect.
That's a great shout. That yard of extra pace. But I just think what I like about him is, and I mentioned it once, then someone laughed at it, so I say it most times now. So what I love about him is him on his Instagram. So like, if you go on his Instagram now, there'll be a picture of him and Thomas Souček, like arm in arm on the pitch. It's almost like he's a competition winner, and that's what he does. It's like
he's so happy. I reckon Ryan Frederick's parents and Soufal's parents should do wife swap, and then they can match off and then test their two offspring with each other, because the only redeeming quality about Ryan Fredericks is footballing ability. I think it's his pace. Obviously, I think he's a good player, but Soufal, like, as a defender, way above.
He's got an incredible cross on him, hasn't he?
He's class. Could only dream of being able to whip a ball in like that. Most of my balls go off the pitch. But
that's what I mean. That's an episode of Wife Swap I think E4 needs to commission.
Yeah, should we like commission that? Should we ask?
I'll have words, because I've had enough of watching. My wife's watching. What does she watch? Australia Married at First Sight.
No. Get the Fredericks and Soufal family to.
Yeah, that's what we want.
Collab. That's a strange collab.
Yeah, there'll be like a lot of potato salad, because he likes potato salad, same as Suchek. I mean, they both eat a lot of potato salad, and I'm sure Ryan Fredericks would have a quite an interesting. I think it's right itself, to be honest. But Glenn Johnson anyway. No, I think also I think what I like about Suchek and you said and Sufal and stuff like that is, very, very rarely we'll buy a player where we can make a profit. I'm not saying we're going to sell him, but if you sold, I think what did I Sufal for? Was it 4 or 5 million, something like that? You could buy him. You could sell him 15 million, no problems tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. It's like the Payet thing as well. Like,
yeah,
make profit off it as well, but the whole world was watching, kind of thing.
Yeah,
that was a little bit of a different case. It's Declan Rice, we sell him, regardless of anything, we sell him for £15.50, make a profit. But
exactly,
But I think there aren't many players like Lanzini probably would have been able to make a profit off 2 years ago or something. Whereas still we got him cheap though, right? We got him cheap.
We got him really cheap because we had him on loan with a guaranteed. And if what rumours are meant to be believed that Jesse Lingard's coming in, he may well all be signed by the time this video goes out. Then make sure you put like a sell, a buy on clause, because if he does end up really good, and then you can buy him for peanuts rather than having to buy him for an exaggerated number of money. And that's what we did with Lanzini. We paid not a lot at all for him. I don't think a few million. I think it was.
Yeah. What do you think about the whole
about Lingard?
Jesse Lingard.
I think he is as a person, and the thing is, I trust Moyes now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? I think.
Do you think that would be a genuinely a Moyes move?
I think so. I do, because I think he's. I think with Moyes, I think what benefits has Jesse Lingard got as a commodity if it wasn't a Moyes purchase? Do you know what I mean? There is some marketing value. I'll give you that. There is some marketing, social media value behind it. We'll detract away from West Ham and stuff. But from a marketing perspective, he's marketable. He has a good social media presence and stuff like that, or a social media presence. If it's good, I don't know. It's up to people's opinion of that. But I think he, as a player, the fact that he's cup tied as well is useful. Because it means that he can play the Premier League games, and it might mean, and I think it's good to freshen up competition. We've all been saying, I always touch with what I say, but we've all been saying we are very lucky in the fact that, Suchek, Declan Rice has played every minute of every Premier League game or something like that. So we've run our luck a little bit. We haven't got a real good backup. There's no disrespect to Mark, but he's not a backup there anymore. He's a 15-minute man at the end of the game to tie it up. But I think Jesse Lingard, something to prove as well. If it's on loan, there's not really, it's wages involved, but we'll see. And if it means also we have to tie up Ben Rama to get that spare domestic loan place to then give him the confidence that we're spending 28, maybe it's 30 million on him, then we'll see. But clearly that's happening, isn't it? That's what's going to happen by the looks of it. So,
like 100%, I think that would be an interesting thing, because for me, the issue with Lingard is more about the personality.
Yeah, sure.
Where I don't know whether that will clash with the harmony which we seem to have as a team already. But I don't think he's like a big ego. I just think he's like a loud and obviously definitely there's a level of arrogance that comes with him, but I don't know him personally to make that judgment. But I'd be intrigued to see how. I think he's very, very much so a confidence-based player, that if he feels comfortable and confident around the team, he'll probably perform quite well. But it's a bit of a meme though, Jesse Lingard, like the whole, like the name itself, like because of his personality online. So I kind of would hope that he'd come into the team, be serious. Obviously he's a professional, so he should be serious to a level. That's my Siri thinking I'm serious.
I love Siri sometimes.
But I think there'll be a level that he could reach, because he had a great run, didn't he? And then it just all dried up and just got dropped.
Yeah, I think he had. I think his mum had a lot of problems and illness and stuff like that, and that affected him mentally and stuff. So, look, it's one of those things where in Moyes we trust, and I think he, if anything, they wouldn't bring in a loan signing and having to the pieces they've had to move to get this to happen, if it happens, i.e. whack down 28 million or whatever it is for Ben Rama today rather than the end of the season. No one wants to spend 28 million pounds now rather than in 6 months' time.
Especially not David Sullivan.
Well, yeah, exactly. So to anyone really with any money in their pocket and in the world the pandemic we're in at the moment, so having to do that to then get a loan deal, there's Moyes has had to go on and persuade that to happen. In my opinion, that's the way I see it. Because
I hope so.
Yeah, and also why do that?
Second run, he's got more.
Yeah, and I think and I think when he was at Man United, I think he actually loaned him out. I think he never actually played under David Moyes, but he obviously saw enough to loan him out to get experience. Anyway, Glenn Johnson. Anyway,
Glenn Johnson.
love Glenn Johnson. Go on, who's going to be next? Go on, because
sorry, that's tangents. Next one, Rio Ferdinand at centre back.
Rio.
I don't have to really say much about that. I think the caliber of player that he became, just so bloody amazing. Like for me, like as a like growing up and stuff, the other people who I hold in the same like caliber for the same kind of era are maybe glorified a little bit in my own brain, like because I was as a kid and I idolized footballers a lot more. But the player that Rio Ferdinand was, I just thought that no one could beat him. Obviously they could, but it's just when you look at his leadership, his technical ability, it's the name. What your name becomes. For me, Ferdinand became a big name, and I was like, wow. Definitely. And then obviously the fact that he went on to United and to have the career that he had just goes to show like the level of player he was. Just the same way that Rice could go on and have a career at bigger club, so to speak.
No, I agree, and I think with Rio, he was just such a. I mean, he came in, he had all this. There was just so much about him and stuff, and everyone was like, he was so like, he. I remember when he came on for Alvin Martin. I think that was his home debut, and he kicked, and everyone said, "Oh, this is going to be our new Bobby Moore." And he puts in his autobiography, he thumped the ball into that row Z, and it was like, "Who?" This is our cultured centre back and stuff, but he was brilliant. I just thought, and I was watching. We're fortunate we do these sort of appreciation nights. So we'd like pick someone like Trevor Sinclair or Trevor Morley or something like that. We do a whole show about him, and then we do obviously see loads of clips. And Rio was an amazing player for us. And I just think he's. Go on, you can, mate. Go on.
No, you carry on.
No, I was just going to waffle on. You go. You know.
I meant to be waffle. I was just going to say the next one because I know
go on then. Let's go. Let's go to the next one. We know Rio. Rio's Rio.
Next one I've done is Ogbonna. I think Ogbonna for me, I've tried to mix like more of the old and the newer here. So I've actually got two current team players. Apologies. But for me, I've done Ogbonna. Not because he's the name of what Rio Ferdinand was, not because he's the ability of what Rio Ferdinand was. It's because of the passion, the professionalism, the loyalty, and also the determination to be able to become one of the first names on the team sheet. When he first came in, he got given his chance. Then it was always in and out, dipping between the rotation of centre backs that we did have. Then when I feel like in this from last season into this season, he was one of my hammer of the seasons last season. He's definitely one of them this season. Anyone who plays next to him seems solid. You've got Balbuena.
Yeah.
For me, Balbuena can come and go. You've got Dawson now.
Yeah.
Fantastic. But if Balbuena, it doesn't matter because Ogbonna would play well regardless of who was next to him, and they would play okay as a result. I think if you have Balbuena and Diop next to each other, it's a shit show. But if you have Ogbonna and Diop would be all right. Diop for me is a big shame. Like when he first played, I thought it was a lot of potential. Like Jose Mourinho calling him a beast and everything. I could see it. I agreed with it, and then something's not right. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to go with Ogbonna. The memories as well. His big, beautiful, shiny head whacking one into the net. Oh, I love him, and his voice is so cute as well, man.
Yeah,
so cute. He just talks to you like, oh, what a man. Then he just headbutts it. Oh my god,
You carry it, but I know you mean about Ogbonna. There was that interchangeable period, wasn't it? Where it was Diop, Balbuena, and Ogbonna. It was always 2 out of 3, and there was always 2 in form, one either injured or not in form. But now, as you said, it's Ogbonna plus one other, and that could be three people. It could be. No, he's brilliant, and the fact that he gets, I just think the fact that he's, I think he's touching on 30 now. Got back into the Italian squads. Fucking hell, that takes some balls, isn't it, to get back in the Italian squad and being not playing in the Serie A as well, which is awesome. But yeah, we'll put Ogbonna.
Yeah,
I love him. Yeah, I think he's great, and he shouts a lot as well. I like players who shout a lot. He shouts a lot.
We don't like quiet players. All right, left back.
Back. Who's left back?
Joey O'Brien.
Joey O'Brien,
what a man. Yeah. I mean, if I were to go on, if I want to win a game, I'd probably go for Cresswell. But you know what? I think across our back 4 of Rio Ferdinand, Ogbonna, and Glenn Johnson, Joey O'Brien will be one of the boys. He will fight for
he's
all of those.
He's one of the boys. Yeah,
he's one of the boys. Don't know about how quick he could get up and down the line. Don't really know about how strong he'll be in the tackle. He's not a Soufal. He's not a Cresswell. He's Joey O'Brien, though. I love him.
Joey O'Brien.
Yeah,
he was all right. He filled in a lot of gaps. He did all right. When he came from Bolton, wasn't it?
Filled in gaps, same like Guy Demel. Our back 4, we had Joey O'Brien and Guy Demel on the other side. I'm like, oh god, what's happening here?
Do you know what? Honestly, genuinely, Guy Demel was one of the nicest blokes I've spoken to on this channel.
Really?
Oh my god, he was.
I don't doubt it.
He was a beautiful man, and he just looks beautiful, and he can still do it. He was still he looked so trim, man. I was like, you
really,
still do a job, man. You can still do a job. But Joey O'Brien, he would play a number of positions, wasn't he? And I remember because I think Bolton, they bought him. It was like a central CDM, and ended up playing him right back. And I love players who can do that, but it's to their own detriment, isn't it?
I think Milner is the ultimate. Jack of all trades. You can play him anywhere. Whereas Joey O'Brien is a different level. It's just you need to play here because we've got better centre mids. We don't have a fullback. So can you please play fullback? Whereas James Milner will be we don't have a centre mid and you're good there. Can you go there? We don't have a right back and you're good there. Can you go there, please? We need you. Antonio. Antonio is also the jack of all trades, but not the technical ability of James Milner. But Antonio does it better than what Joey O'Brien does. Do you get what I mean? Yeah.
Anyway,
I would personally prefer Joey O'Brien at fullback than Antonio, but Antonio will probably be able to catch a lot more people coming back, But that being said, Joey O'Brien is my left back because he is an absolute hero. So I've gone right wing.
Yep.
I'm just putting him here, but I'm going Joe Cole.
Joey Cole. Yes.
Yeah. So Joe Cole, and I must emphasize first Joe Cole, not second Joe Cole. It must be
generation.
It must be the first Joe Cole, the Joe Cole that played for England with the red stripe down the side.
Yes.
The Joe Cole that blitzed past people. The Joe Cole that could whip one in. That Joe Cole, what a bloody player! He made me want to be left-footed. I don't know, and I don't know why. I just wanted to be different. He was so good. It wasn't even just because of anything. When you look at a player and you're like, I wish I could just do this. I would see him do things. I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
I want to just be left-footed for no reason. I just wanted to be it. No reason. I think he was smart. He was intelligent. He was a good player who also had a bit of pace. And he seemed like when he was obviously playing for club and country, he was a good professional, a very, very solid choice as a winger,
Yeah, and he was just and I think that first iteration, the first edition of Joe Cole, was the truest edition of Joe Cole.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? He was like a little kid, and he could do little tricks and the little Rabona things and the pirouettes and all that. He was doing Rabonas before they were in fashion.
Yeah.
He was doing Panenka's penalties before they were in fashion and stuff. And he was the man. When he was there, Chelsea ruined him.
Yeah, which is such a shame. But then Chelsea do that. But fuck Chelsea.
Well, I just think I think Man United ruined Rio. Really, not as the career he had, but they took all the Rio-ness out of Rio. He would bomb forward.
Do you not think that's the same kind of thing with with Declan Rice? If Declan Rice goes to City and then they make him play centre back, he won't be the same player.
No.
Like he'll get better facilities, get better coaching, a lot more money. He will be guaranteed to play for England pretty much.
Yeah.
But will he be the Declan Rice? I don't think so.
No, I don't think anyone. I don't think if he goes anywhere now, I don't think he can play. He can go as a centre back. Do you know what I mean? I think the only place he would have gone to as a centre back would be Chelsea, because Lampard had this bone in him about being the next John Terry. Basically, that's the way I see it. Whereas I think Pep needs a replacement for Fernandinho.
I mean, he'll play, but even regardless, like I still don't think like he'll play Champions League, he'll play international, he'll play the highest level of football possible. So naturally, he will become a better player. But the name and the ability that he will have, like Mahrez, for example, Mahrez played for Leicester, unbelievable. Mahrez playing for City, still unbelievable. But is he the Riyad Mahrez that everyone talks about?
No.
N'Golo Kante, he is the only name like out of those two from that Leicester team, which is probably the same kind of name, but
in the same level, yeah.
But,
I know what you mean.
But Leicester Kante was different to Chelsea Kante still, because he got moved around, and I still don't think.
Yeah, would he be happy? Would he be happy, Charlie?
I don't think you can make. I don't think you can make Kante sad, but
and I don't think Declan Rice would be happy if he went anywhere else apart from West Ham. That's
I think he's at home, man. But okay. I don't want to speak. I do not want that moment to be clipped.
No, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it gets clipped in for later on, right?
Fan, like,
he's going. Oh, I told you he was going. Right. Okay, Joe's in. Who's next? Charlie?
On the topic of him, Declan Rice is
Declan Rice. I was going to say. I thought I could imagine him turning up in a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, we've spoken enough about him. I think all that says to that I think he could become club legend level,
And also, as you said, he's 22. He's like a couple of years younger than you, and he's played over 100 Premier League games. He captains West Ham. It's just mental when you think of it in that respect. Now, I've interviewed some players who were breaking into the side at like 20. You know what I mean? Like we had like Neil Mellor and people like that who just like, it was at Liverpool, he just breaking into the side at 20. This guy's playing for England. He's captaining his club. I just think it's incredible when you look at it in isolation. He's so young, and he's got so much more to give. So much more to give.
I think just to like touch on that point is that he's got so much more to give, but when you've achieved what you feel like could be everything, it's like what's next, So from a career perspective, it's like, oh well, West Ham can't pay me what Man United can, and Man United can pay me more and also offer me Champions League football. If we manage to get Europa League football, that continues along the ideology that we spoke about earlier about a project, because Declan Rice will be like, okay, well, we've got Europa, so now I'm playing Prem. I'm going to try and get Europa again next season, but we're also going to try and get as far as we can in Europa. And if we do well in Europa, do you think I could maybe play Champions League down the line? Do you get what I mean? Yeah. But it's the weighing scales again. If we get Europa, Declan Rice will stay. If we don't get Europa, then we don't get Europa, then we don't get Europa. I think Declan Rice has every right, and I don't think anyone will feel bad about. Well, everyone will feel bad. I don't think anyone will hold against him about going to a club which can offer him that, because he deserves it as a professional.
No, and I think, to be honest, to be like over the summer when there was all the talk about going to Chelsea, we were literally walking him out the door. To me, like you see other people. We spoke about Scott Parker and people like that. They went to Tottenham, better their career. Whereas Declan Rice, oh, there we go, Mister. Of course, yeah. Good luck to you. Yeah. We won't blame you. It's like, well, it's funny, isn't it? We don't want him to go, but they were literally almost kicking him out the door. It seems. But
we just want what's best for him for his career, because we actually clearly do care about him as a player and a character.
Definitely.
Next midfielder I've got is Carrick, where you just mentioned him.
Yeah.
So Carrick was along the era of me throughout childhood, where obviously Ferdinand and Joe Cole. So he like that kind of like period of time in my life. I used to be like, oh, I want to be like that midfielder. For me, even Carrick going in when he was at United towards the end of his career, how clean the short passes were. It was the simple jobs. It was the intelligent jobs, the positional awareness. I think Carrick reminds me of Souček, but not anything like it. I think not anything like him as a player. I think what he not reminds me of makes me feel confident putting him next to Rice or in a midfield with Rice, because I think it's the positional awareness which Rice will need. That if Rice goes forward, I'm probably doing this too tactically for 11.
No, not at all. I think people like this stuff, man.
But Carrick, obviously not being the blistering midfielder that goes up and down, It will leave more space to be more reserved, that you can have that person who can intercept, the person who can pass, distribute out wide, and Rice can probably, instead of just being that just CDM, he could move more forwards,
Yeah, be more mobile. And that's what I think. Something like Carrick is every team he left, no one replaced him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like West Ham, we never replaced him. Tottenham never could ever replace him. Man United can never replace him. Travis didn't get as many England caps as he should have got as that player. But yeah, he was just such an amazing player. Such an amazing player. I think, looking back at it, is, as I said, watching loads of highlights like you do when there's nothing on telly to watch. You watch loads of games and old games, and yeah, he was brilliant. Such a great player for us. Such a great player. Right, Mickey Carrick. Mickey Carrick is in.
He is in. Last one in the midfield three is Scotty Parker. The way that guy could just turn around, I didn't understand. Like I didn't get it. Like it's like he was on a those like gyro balls where they like
the Parker pirouette. Yes.
This is like Parker when he's like moving around the ball. I didn't get it. Like there's some kind of muscle in your legs which could be very responsible for that, and he had elite levels of that muscle. Whatever, he could just turn. He was smart. He was intelligent, and him leaving, that's pissed off. He's in 11 out of ability, not because I like him. You know what? Actually, he's in my 11, and I'm going to make him stay training longer than everyone else and run further than everyone else.
Just for that.
He is the bitch of the team, Scott Parker. Like you're going to work the hardest for me, Parker, and you're also going to play well for me. Yeah. But sorry, internalized anger. But I was very, very pissed off when he left, and the manner in which he did leave, where we were saying before with Rice, we like push him at the door, because I think that no matter what it is, we do believe that we would have known that Parker could have gone on and done better, but it's the time and it's also the way in which and the character that the person is, I just don't think that Parker did it. But Parker's so good, man. I maybe just my memory could be also romanticizing.
No, I don't think it was. I mean, he hammered the year threes in a row. He carried that team. It was a shit team, and he carried it for 3 years.
So shit.
What a great team.
Probably this had every right to leave as well, but I was pissed off still. I'm still making him run further than everyone else.
Still making him run, still making do extra laps. Yeah, I used to remember walking off when he used to go around the players' entrance, he would come out, and you'd see him. He wasn't on crutches, but he looked like he should have been. He was crawling so much. He'd put so much effort on the pitch. But yeah. And I think also we talk about Declan Rice, and I think there's this weird sort of circle of life thing where like Mark Noble learned from Scott Parker how to be a captain, and then Mark's passed that on to Declan, and there's this sort of like Hakuna Matata, sort of like, that's not the right expression, but circle of life type thing. I mixed up my Lion King analogies, but there's I've been watching too much fucking Disney Plus with my 8-year-old daughter. That's trouble. Homeschooling, just watch Disney Plus. There we go. You learn all about the Serengeti, Lion King. Egypt, go and watch Prince of Egypt. So yeah, that's what I think about Parker. I just think he has a massive influence on Declan Rice's career. Yeah, not directly.
Keep that midfield three though: Rice, Carrick, and Scott Parker. Wow, make me a manager.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it can't really get Scott out every time. It would be a bit awkward to get Scott playing for us.
I know what I will do. I'll make a YouTube team.
Exactly. Yeah, a Road to Glory series, like one else does, isn't it? That's it. Bring it back. Bring back FIFA. Do you know, I haven't fucking played FIFA. I haven't even bought this FIFA this year. I used to always buy it, man, but this year
I've never. I'm not much of a gamer. I'll do stuff, but I hate FIFA. I can't get on with it. Although I played FIFA this year on my friend's, my flatmate's PlayStation, and that was actually quite enjoyable. And for the first time in years, I've enjoyed it.
It's playing with your mates, isn't it? It makes it's different, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, right. And left wing. Pyatt.
Yeah, got it. Left Pyatt. Yeah,
it's got to be. Pyatt made me fall back in love with West Ham. Made me fall out of love with West Ham. It's a little bit like my relationship with women. It's just like the people who hold on to my mind, and the people that maybe love and maybe lose. But Pyatt, my God, I'll just sit there. He'll get the ball. I'll be like, oh my gosh. I close my eyes and I'll be like, what are you doing? You got to wake up. Pyatt's on the ball. Get free kick. anything. The ball's going forwards. The ball comes over to him. You just think, something's going to happen. And something doesn't happen. You're like, it can happen anytime this game. It's 90 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you'll sit there and you'll look at any football and be like, it's just not their day. And I didn't ever think that it wasn't his day, because he could be a ghost. He could be misplacing passes. He could be doing something. But he only needed 1 second of magic. And granted, everyone only needs 1 second of magic to do something. But he was the only one that I believed that he could just do it.
Yeah.
You know, he could be like, he could blast the ball into Rose head like Ferdinand, you know. He could do that 7 times. But every single time that he goes over the free kick, it could be the 15th free kick of the game. And I still think every single time that he's going to stand over that ball, I'd still be on the edge of my seat, because it could be the 16th time and it's going in, you know. And that happened every game. Like it could happen every single game. There was always something that he had up his sleeve. Like I will always hold Payet as my favorite ever player to play for West Ham. And it was the biggest heartbreak. He was the best player that has ever played for West Ham, technically.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're never going to get another Ballon d'Or nominee. Unless Souček makes a late run for it. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, could you imagine?
I think Payet was in the world 11 of that year, but like in that position of like being where he was. So like he should have been a Champions League winner. He should have been like World Cup winning that kind of thing. That's what he should be. You know? Like, that's his level. But even now, I literally sometimes watch Marseille games. I'm like, it's Payet. New haircut. He's got, you know.
It's like when you Facebook stalk your old girlfriends. That's what basically you're doing, aren't you?
It's literally Instagram stalking my ex. Just looking at
it. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. But for him, it was like, and again, we talk about getting players. You know, I don't know, like Souček. He's having a form of his life, and people like that. You know, for that 18 months, that was Payet in his pomp. That was Payet. You know. Prime Payet. I'm sorry to put a FIFA analogy, but he was prime. You know, he was a good player at Marseille before and after, but that 18 months he was phenomenal. And
it's momentum, man. Momentum. Like, what happens? He comes to West Ham and he was put on the world stage. He performed at that world stage, goes back to Marseille. He still performs. He still scores free kicks, still scores goals, still playing Europa League, playing at a higher level than West Ham, but no one's talking about him.
No one talks about him. No, it's just the nature of the league, isn't it?
He's not been selected for France. He's not the level of what he is, but he's captain of Marseille, or I don't know if he is still or not, but he was.
He said really knowledgeable until that second child. Well, he might be. I don't know. I don't pay attention to him.
I actually know every detail. Yeah, but exes, man. He's my ex-favorite player, but he is still my favorite. Love. What does it do to you?
It's crazy, isn't it? Love's a crazy thing.
Last player I've got.
Who's last player?
Dean Ashton.
Yeah,
whack that guy right up top. That beautiful bastard. Heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Seeing the downfall of his career because of injury. He made me move from Adidas Predators to get Puma boots, and I think that says it all. Yeah. Why the fuck would I ever want to wear Puma boots back then? They were ugly. They're nice now, but those boots were lovely. Those boots were nice, and now I know why he wore them. Like it was like a silver colorway with like the Puma flick kind of thing that came down. Intelligent player, skillful player for a big guy as well.
Yeah.
Shame about the hairline, so he didn't have it all. But you can't have everything, can you? But he was good at the finish. He was good at bringing people into play. If I whacked any striker up top by themselves in my lifetime I can think of, it would be Andy Carroll or Dean Ashton. And Andy Carroll would always be like, oh, it's on his day. Whereas Dean Ashton, it's more like, you turn up, I think you're going to do a good job. If your Achilles goes,
that's a great shout.
You know, I think he's a skillful player. I remember, I can't even remember who we were playing. I just remember I used to be in the Centenary stand before it got renamed at Upton Park, and I remember him being trapped into the corner flag, and this person was right up his arse, and he just did some flick. He had no right to do it where he was, and I didn't understand it. And then he got away, and then brought someone else into play, and I just thought, bloody hell! Like, how's he done that? I was only like 7 or something, but I was very easily impressed. He just done a flick. I'm going to buy some new boots. But what a man! What a man! I'll stick with 100% Dean Ashton. Like for me, there's only ever been. We've always had a trouble with finding strikers. You know, we've had iconic names like Carlton Cole. What a man! Like absolute class, class character on and off pitch. If I was going to do a team 11 of loyalty, he'd be second after Mark Noble. You know, the way the club treated him, and then for him to return and also offer, I think unbelievable for him as a character. But Dean Ashton, we have like a curse, didn't we, with players being selected for England and all that kind of stuff, and also the injuries. But even to, when you're a player from your team, you're proud to go off. You know, like proud when Antonio got selected, proud when Rice gets selected. You know, and was proud when Dean Ashton got selected, and then that happens during an England training like routine.
It happens, and it's a shame because you said he was probably in my lifetime the most complete striker we've ever had. You know, he was just a phenomenal player, and it was a terrible shame because again, we're always a sliding doors team, aren't we? It's always like, what would have been if we hadn't sold Rio and Frank Lampard and we'd have won the league, and it's like, okay, well. It's like, what would happen if Ashton and Bellamy had a chance to form this partner? It would have been the new Cotti McAvenny, I'm pretty sure. But
there are loads of other like players, like Yossi Benayoun was up there for me. I was just like, what a player. And there's players like obviously Tevez. You know, I don't know. There's so many.
There's loads. You can make 20 teams.
Why the fuck was he on the bench? You know, like obviously politics and stuff, but players like that, which are so amazing. But obviously for me, there's only one. The complete striker for me is Dean Ashton.
Yeah.
So I'd go for a 4-2-3-1 with this. But,
I think there'll be goals. I think it'll be first the match of the day. That's for sure. Particularly with Jerry O'Brien bombing down the left back position, overlapping with Payet. We can just see it now.
Payet makes people play better. So maybe Joey O'Brien is doing roulettes and round the worlds just to flick it in, put Payet in, and where Payet's Rabona in to Dean Ashton, who then does a big flick heel to Joey O'Brien, like near the centre circle, and he absolutely.
Yeah.
That was explicit. But
that bombshell. Charlie, man, it's been lovely chatting. I loved it, man. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And obviously, thank you to everyone for watching or listening. Where we do, give it a like, give it a share. For me and Charlie, take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash those hands. Come on, you irons, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care, everyone. Much.